You ever get a letter that's so outrageous, so flat out offensive, you just sit there, mouth hanging open, wondering if it's some kind of prank? Yeah, well, picture this. I'm sitting on the porch of a cabin I built with my own hands, over 6 long years of blood, sweat, and every penny I could scrounge up after a brutal divorce. Pine and fresh sawdust still hang in the air. My hands are raw from sanding boards, my heart finally starting to heal when a certified letter lands in my lap, telling me to tear down everything I've built in 30 days or just hand over my deed to the HOA. The kind of anger that shoots up your spine and makes you see red? That was me. But you know what? They picked the wrong guy for this fight. Let me back up a sec. Name's Jake Collins. I'm 48, an electrician by trade, and a stubborn old mule by reputation. 6 years back, I scraped together 18 grand for 4 acres of mountain land in the Blue Ridge, North Carolina. The realtor promised me, swore up and down, this was outside any HOA. I made them say it twice and wrote it down myself. After my dad passed that same year, left me 35 grand. I couldn't afford a new truck, but I could afford to buy a fresh start. So I rebuilt myself one board at a time. Weekends after long weeks on the job, I'd load up the pickup and haul lumber up those switchbacks, sometimes with my kids, Emma and Tyler, riding shotgun, sometimes alone, just me and a thermos of black coffee. Chainsaw in one hand, stubbornness in the other. I cleared trees, watched a raw patch of earth become home. I studied YouTube videos like a second job, learned to wire solar, installed a wood stove, got the county to sign off on my off-grid water setup. Permits. Oh, I've got a stack of them. Every nail, every board, legal, logged, approved. My kids visited on weekends. Emma learned to run the drill. Tyler got obsessed with the measuring tape. Those days, the smell of pine sap and sweat in the air felt like my old life was being sanded down into something better. It was therapy, the kind you don't get from shrink, you know? And then she showed up. Patricia Morrison. 52, platinum blonde, Lexus SUV that somehow never gets muddy. President of the Mountain View Estates HOA, which puts right up to my boundary. The kind of woman who's always got a plastic smile and a perfume that hits you like a bank statement. Rumor had it she'd bullied 6 families out in the last 4 years. Now, apparently, she had her sights set on me. She dropped by to welcome me during my last month of construction, stilettos clicking like a countdown clock on my porch. Gave me the up-down like she was appraising cattle at the state fair. This structure impedes our community sight lines, she announces. All business, not a hint of neighbor in her voice. I kept sanding my porch rail, didn't even look up. Ma'am, this is my private land, legal, permitted, and none of your business. Her eyes went shark cold. We'll see what our lawyers have to say about that. That's how my mountain sanctuary turned into a war zone. First wave, code enforcement. Showed up like vacuum salesmen. Clipboards, frowns, looking for violations. Every time, I'd hand over my permits, watch them deflate and drive away. But Pat was just getting warmed up. 2 months later, she returns waving a professionally corrected survey, her brother's firm, of course, claiming my cabin sits 12 feet inside HOA territory. You'll need to pay a $3,200 initiation fee, plus $225 a month in back dues. Her paperwork felt expensive, but smelled like BS. Lady, I'm not in your HOA. Her smile dropped 10 degrees. 45 days, Mr. Collins. Pay up or tear it down. Game on. 3 days later, I'm in the courthouse basement, digging through records that smell like mold and lost hopes. Dorothy Jenkins, the clerk, has been guarding these files since Reagan was president. Gray hair and a bun tight enough to power a small generator. Razor-sharp eyes. That Morrison woman's been down here 6 times this month, she whispers, asking about your property. Together, we spread the original surveys. My place is 41 feet inside my boundary. Not 12 feet on HOA land, 41 feet on my own damn soil. Then Dorothy leans in. She offered me $800 to lose those boundary documents. My coffee suddenly tastes like poison. Dorothy, God bless her, would rather die than lose a record or take a bribe. I pull out my phone. Thank you. Army training, North Carolina is a one-party consent state, and get Dorothy to repeat the story on tape. This isn't neighborly drama anymore. This is felony-level stuff. Dorothy pulls a fat folder. Purchase records showing the Morrison clan has been buying up properties for 20 years, creating a buffer zone. My 4 acres? The prize. I hire an independent surveyor. Costs $1,200 I don't have, but worth every penny for the ammo. 2 days later, vindication. My cabin is 47 feet inside my boundary. Pat's survey is so fake, her brother could lose his license. Now I go on offense. File a complaint with the Board of Surveyors. Mail Pat a cease and desist. Pat responds by calling GPS unreliable, mountains blocking satellites, all kinds of nonsense. Then calls an HOA emergency meeting, rants about encroaching structures. The minutes become public, and she slips up, caught on record. We cannot allow outside properties to diminish our investments regardless of their legal standing. She just admitted my rights mean nothing to her. Word spreads. Frank, retired teacher, forced to demolish a shed. Jimmy, hardware store owner, cited for parking his own truck in his own driveway. The pattern's clear. Pat's running an intimidation racket. But she pushed too far, and now I've got backup. Tom Bradley, the county inspector, shows up again, got another complaint about setback violations. But his eyes say he knows the drill. I pull up the county road maps. My so-called shared access road is public, has been since '67. Turns out another HOA tried this scam in 2019, got hammered in court. Tom, off the record, tells me Pat threatened his supervisor's job during budget season. That's federal territory, folks. I file a FOIA request, cough up the $50 fee, and soon have a manila envelope thick enough to stop a bullet. Pat's husband donated $8,000 to a county commissioner's campaign. This is bigger than just HOA power trips. This is organized corruption. Here's where it gets wild. I call up Sarah Kim, high school friend turned investigative reporter. She shows up, notepad in hand, and her nose for dirt is legendary. Turns out, Pat's pattern isn't unique. She's been running this playbook across counties. Security firms, run by her own relatives, start harassing my allies. Cameras on my porch, cars loitering outside Frank's house. Instead of scaring us, she just unites us. Then comes financial terrorism. My insurance company gets an anonymous tip about commercial operations on my land. The adjuster, Dave, inspects every outlet and power tool. After hours, he's nodding in respect, cleaner than most commercial jobs I've seen. Turns out, Pat's the anonymous tipster, and, get this, she works as a contractor for the insurance investigation unit. That's fraud, plain and simple. Sarah's digging uncovers more. 3 other families lost their homes or sold under pressure, all after similar bogus insurance claims. The Morrison Development Company sits on purchase options for the whole ridge. Their plan? Squeeze every last family until we either fold or lose our shirts in court. But here's the twist. My army buddy, Mike Torres, lawyer by trade, laughs when I tell him, "Jake, that's federal racketeering." She's cooked. He brings in Rebecca Martinez, a civil rights attorney who could make a stone statue sweat. We form a coalition, Frank, Margaret, Dorothy, and more, armed with files, records, cameras, and enough anger to light up half the county. Rebecca files an injunction. Sarah tips off the FBI's public corruption unit, and we organize the resistance. Trail cameras catch Pat's security goons vandalizing my solar panels. Caught red-handed, arrested on the spot. That alone upgrades the game from civil to criminal, and now federal prosecutors are salivating. Pat herself gets caught at midnight on infrared footage, removing my no trespassing signs with wire cutters. Expensive jewelry sparkling in the moonlight, face clear as day. A few days later, Pat shows up at my door with a briefcase and a smile, faker than a $3 bill. "Let's resolve this like neighbors," she purrs, opening the case. 50 grand in cash and a thick NDA. She wants me to walk away, keep quiet, never talk to reporters or testify. What if I refuse? I ask. Her smile cracks. Accidents happen. Property gets damaged. Businesses fail. All of it threats and bribery, caught on a federal wire. That's all it takes. Next morning, the FBI raids Morrison Development, the HOA office, Pat's mansion, seizes boxes of evidence. News crews film Pat led away in cuffs. The new HOA board issues apologies, and my phone blows up with families celebrating the end of an era. The trial is a media circus, packed courthouse, cameras everywhere, the smell of anticipation and cheap coffee. I take the stand, evidence stacked like bricks. The crowd gasps as recordings play. Pat's own voice, threats, bribes, admissions that the HOA never had legal authority. FBI agents present the money trail. Millions laundered through fraudulent property transfers, campaign contributions, insurance fraud. Pat Morrison stands up, screaming about character assassination by a mentally unstable veteran. The judge nods to the agent. They play Pat's own recorded confession. The place erupts. The FBI arrests 9 people for racketeering and conspiracy, right there in the courtroom. The cheers shake the walls. 2 years later, I'm on my expanded porch, now with grandkids running wild, watching the sun set over the ridge that almost got stolen from under me. Pat got 12 years in federal prison. The Morrison clan's money funds a property rights foundation. Emma's in law school. Tyler teaches cabin building to vets. Sarah Kim's documentary wins awards. Every October, our Mountain Justice Festival brings together families and lawyers to celebrate the victory. So, here's my question to you. Ever had a run-in with corrupt HOAs or local bullies? Drop your story in the comments. The more we share, the harder it is for these people to hide. If you want more stories about regular folks standing up to abuse of power, hit subscribe. Next time, we're taking down a mayor trying to steal a public lake. The fight for justice never ends, but neither do folks like us.